Hey guys, we got news for September 16th on Global, the Final Fantasy Type 0 event, and some other stuff. And this week, NegaBrady will be talking about the news with me, so you can say hello.
What's up? What's up?
Alright, so the first thing we're going to cover is the thing that everyone has been waiting for, myself included, for it seems like a year and a half, but it's only been 3 months, technically speaking. Gumi waited to the very last day to keep their 3 month schedule. But we're getting the daily Fragment challenge starting on Thursday. It's going to be the same as the previous runs, where it's 2 weeks. And one concern people had were premium units. Premium units are going to be getting the exact same shards as everyone else, so you can get your Tifa, Aerith, and Sephiroth, to EX3 if you were 70 away, or work progress towards them. So what about you, Nega? What big units have you been saving for this? Is anyone getting EX3 this week?
I think I could get Sky and maybe Igni, but as of now, my biggest gripe is I have no physical tanks at EX2 or EX3 for.
Oh,
I'm
geez.
kind of struggling there.
Do you have like Behemoth at all? Because Behemoth, while Behemoth isn't the best physical tank as far as mitigations go, just it seems like his toolkit was designed like a long time in advance in preparation of this fight. Like, this is his fight. His kit is really built around this fight because he counters with the mana restore. He has the huge demon mitigation. He's got that 90% Magnus for the attack buff in phase 2. Like, he is just all in to survive this encounter. So do you have him at all to at least get him to EX2 from the Shard Dungeon?
I do. I actually have him ready to go EX2 in 2 runs, so that's actually not as bad as I thought it would be.
Oh, okay. Nice, nice. Well, we've got the Daily Fragment. I personally will be getting Tifa to EX3 on the very last day. I did her charge to where I was waiting for the dungeon, and she's exactly 70 away. So on the last day, I will get a Tifa. Not that she's going to help in the Clash of Wills, but she should be useful for Dark Visions when it rolls around again at EX3. But yes, that is the thing we've been looking for. Now, I was kind of hoping they were going to run the Fragment Dungeon, with the usual 2 weeks as we've been waiting for and expecting. And I was hoping they were going to put up news after this run, we're going to convert to the JP model where it's every day and we don't have this 3 month gap. But while that is still possible, they didn't announce that. So that could just be me hoping for the best and hoping. We'll see.
Yeah, I didn't really think that was going to happen, unfortunately.
It probably won't, but I can hope. So the next thing is some bundle updates. These, if I remember correctly, these are all cash bundles, I think. So for those of you that spend cash on the bundles, I don't honestly know what they were before, but they're getting updated, I assume, to be better. So if you buy these bundles, I guess they're better. I honestly don't know. Do you buy these Mithril Chest of Abundance and Gold Chest of Abundance? Do you know much about these? Nega, we might have lost Nega. He said he was on mobile data, so he might drop sometimes. He might have dropped.
For
Oh, there he goes.
79.
Your connection is cutting out. It dropped most of what you said.
Oh, my fault. Sorry, YouTube people. Push to talk on Discord is hard on phone. But I usually get the ones that are the 22k lapis that are pretty decent value lapis for dollars.
Oh, okay. I actually don't see one for 22k in here. That one might not be updated. It seems like the biggest one is 15,000 for the Mithril Chest of Abundance. But in any case, for those of you that buy bundles, they're getting updated. We're also getting kind of a joke update this week. We're getting EX abilities for the original Cloud and Red 13. So these
are cutting out for me.
Oh, I was gonna say, aside we're getting EX ability updates for Cloud and Red 13. These EX abilities weren't really that impressive when they originally launched in JP. As far as timeline goes, these are a year late on Global. So it gives Cloud and Red 500 extra attack power and the Chain Cat boost. Unfortunately, their modifiers are not being boosted, so they're just well, like I said, a year late. So I guess we're getting them. Yay! If you're huge fans of original Cloud and Red 13, they'll technically be better now, but not really. What do you think? These are these worth that we have set now? Oh god, I think negative.
I mean, a year late is pretty par for the course.
Yeah, they are really outdated. I have no idea why they decided to wait a year because, they weren't even good on release, and they waited an extra year just to make us wait. I don't know. It makes no sense to me, but whatever. This can basically be ignored this week. On the other hand, we are getting some nice updates for the Final Fantasy Type 0 stuff. Machina's STMR gets more attack power. Wildcard Ace's TMR gets a little bit more magic, and I think the killers increase as well. The big one for me is Vermilion Flag is getting death immunity added. I've actually got 3 of these because Ace just absolutely loves me. I've got 3 of these. I can now make my entire arena team death immune. That's going to be awesome. Another change is Rem's STMR is getting more magic, which Yigni would really appreciate because I don't have 2 of his STMR, so that's great. And then some updates to Summon Eidolon. I don't know what the update to this is. It fills LB gauge and kill. Let me actually peek at the JP page real quick, and I can see what the changes were. As far as I can tell, there's no change from the JP version. Oh, I think the difference is it doesn't cost mana anymore. Okay, that's something. And then Katana Mastery gets updated. The Katana, the +1 and +2 are only for specific units, and then the base Katana Mastery is updated for everyone. So those are nice. The biggest thing for me is the Vermilion Flag. I'm so happy that we're getting more death immunity stuff. What about you? Do you have any of these STMRs?
I have every single one, and honestly, when it comes to weapon upgrades and accessory upgrades, I was really surprised that Gumi's actually going through with some of the JP stuff because we're missing Vivi's STMR that got the upgrade for the magic abilities. Is that it?
Yeah, they we're missing a ton of them from previous updates, and I would kind of like them to go back and catch us up for the ones we've skipped, but we haven't yet. But at the very least, we are getting the ones for this week, which is something.
Well, here's to hoping in the future.
We can hope. The raid event is Kingdom's Final Hours. It's very classic raid, extremely boring, but lucrative. It's worth doing. Queen gets a 65 attack power chest. Machina gets a 60 attack power accessory. Kurosame gets... Well, actually, this mask is for everyone. It's just a 45 attack power mask. These are all decent items, but it just seems I don't know, we have better these days. But this is all free stuff, so this is, I guess, more aimed at new players. That's good. And then the killers, Gumi is keeping up with the meme. These are killer materials that are only usable by specific units, which is... It's just clutter, in my opinion. It's just, these are almost not even worth saving. I'm going to, of course, but... what is the point of locking these not even powerful killers to specific units? Just makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same board there. It kind of makes no sense to me, but it is what it is.
And then bonus units, Type 0, as well as the last month's units. This is very, very classic for raids. And we get a daily boss for EX coins. As usual, these are just going there and one-shot it. There's nothing really interesting for that. We're also getting a Chronicle Battle, 2 Chronicle Battles. We're going to go over the first one, though. Lieutenant Colonel Charlotte. Now, this is kind of funny. This Chronicle Battle in the JP server, it's to upgrade Ace's TMR and then give an accessory for Type 0 units. The Ace TMR boost up Wildcard Ace, and people might be thinking, what is the point? It's a 7-star unit. He's completely worthless these days. The reason for this Chronicle Battle was because in the JP server, as I've mentioned in previous videos, JP server very frequently gives updates to 7-star units and brings them like not to the top of the meta, but it brings them to a Neovision level. And Ace and Rem, the 7 stars in the JP server, got massive modifier boosts to their kits. They got some updates to their kit. And while they weren't like meta, they were, having the same kind of modifiers as Neovision units. And with the new feature of giving them a vision card, they were competent units. Global is skipping their upgrades, so we're getting the Chronicle Battle to buff Wildcard Ace, but we're not getting Ace's upgrades. So this is basically pointless.
What? We're getting a Chronicle Battle to update a weapon to not updated units? That's strange.
Exactly. It boosts Ace's LB damage and flat magic by 500, which was really nice because Ace got... I forget the modifiers, but he chained something like 250x per cast. He's a triple caster, so he got... he was an extremely potent chainer for a 7-star, with that disclaimer. But he was still, usable, especially for the Chronicle Battle that we're going to talk about in a second. That's locked to Final Fantasy Zero only units. But we're not getting his updates. Gumi is giving us the weapon updates and the items, but they're still skipping the unit upgrades constantly. And it irritates me, but that's global, I guess. And then the other Chronicle Battle, this one is the hard Chronicle Battle. It's kind of like Lord of the Sewers and Whisper Bahamut we had from Final Fantasy VII and Valley Garmonda from Final Fantasy VI. This one is the boss battle. Only Final Fantasy Type 0 units can enter the battle, so it has to be FF0 only. It's for the Mystery Crystal, and you've got to do it in 3 turns or less for the emblem, which is just cosmetic. If you can't do it, no big deal. And 5 turns or less for the Mystery Crystal. Now, this is permanent content, so this is not limited. If you can't do it right away, don't sweat it. You can take all the time you need. But this one in the JP server, I still can't do in 3 turns. I still can't do it on the JP server. I did it in 5 turns, but the 3-turn clear basically requires either Neovision's Kurosawa, the new unit, or EX3, Queen, or Machina, because you need EX3 to get their SOB by turn 3, which is the turn limit, and I don't have EX3 of either of those in the JP servers. I just can't do this in 3 turns. How about you? Are you going to have EX3, Queen, or Machina from dupes?
I think I have enough for EX3 Machina, or at the very least EX2. I only have 1 extra Queen, though.
Well, I think Machina... Queen is the better choice here, because the boss, if I remember correctly, is weak to Thunder, and Queen is a Thunder DPS, so she's better for it, but I think Machina can still do it in 3 turns at EX3. Machina is a fire unit, and the boss is not weak to fire, but it still works. So I think Machina can do it. So this boss... the boss isn't threatening or anything, it's just really bulky, just like Valley Garmonda, so it's not, dangerous to your team, it's just really bulky, and Final Fantasy Type 0 has a very, very small roster of units to use in it. And we're not getting the Queen and Ace updates either, which is just even less options for this fight. If I remember correctly, the boss, for the first 3 turns, doesn't really do anything, and then on turn 4, he jumps. So you only really have 4 turns to beat it within 5, because one of the turns he's in the air and you can't even attack the boss. It's kind of obnoxious. Yeah, so it's amusing. On Thursday I'll put out some videos of the fight, but on global I can't EX3 Queen or Machina either, so I probably won't even be able to do this in 3 turns on global, which is a little sad, but yep. But again, it's permanent content. You can take as long as you need to beat it. So the banner this week is Type 0. So the new unit is Ice Reaper Kurosawa, and then Queen and Machina get their Neovision's Awakenings. The step up is the exact same as we've currently got for Kresnik and Bulwark. It's the one that gives you 25 shards on step 4, a guaranteed Neo on step 5. You can do it 4 times. So if you go the entire route, you get an additional 100 shards, along the way. Or if you go to Pity, you get 50 shards plus all the perks from the summon shop and all. So this is a nice step up. Do you actually like this step up, or do you prefer the old way of panels and stuff?
I actually really like this step up. I'm not gonna lie. All the extra perks adding with each step is really, really nice.
For me too. From all the step ups Global has done, this is my personal favorite, mostly because of the shards. Like, for me, it's all about the shards. Any method that gives me more shards, I'm all in for. So this works for me. And as far as Kurosawa goes, he is a super limit burst unit. Those of you familiar with Cyan, we just got recently the Final Fantasy VI Samurai. Kurosawa, he's got like some small differences, but he is basically identical to Cyan, other than being ice element. Cyan is earth, Kurosawa is ice. Now, Kurosawa does do slightly more damage, just based on the fact that his STMR gives flat attack, so he'll have higher attack than Cyan. If you compare them side by side, same level of gear, Kurosawa is going to have something like 1,000 more attack power, which is going to make his damage decently higher. But as far as playstyle and kit, basically identical. They just, chill out and do basically garbage damage for 3 or 4 turns. Then when their SLB comes off cooldown, they do a huge burst, and then repeat the process. So are you a Kurosawa fan? Do you plan to chase him, or is this a skip banner for you?
I've been hurting after pulling for Bulwark, so I think I'm going to skip this banner.
For me too. It's a complete skip. Honestly, just speaking plainly here, I think for the most part, almost every JP banner coming to Global is going to be a skip for me, just because JP units are not getting anything for Clash of Wills, and that's really sad, which makes them like not worthless, but just not good in Clash of Wills. Like even the premium Sephiroth and Tifa, as strong as they are, not counting the fact that their elements have been wrong, but even if they were correct element, a max power Sephiroth, assuming Sephiroth was like ice damage for the current Clash of Wills, even a Sephiroth at max power would be doing less damage than things like Louise, Yigni, and Sky because of the Clash of Will mechanics. So for me, I'm going to be skipping almost every JP banner just because they're not good in Clash of Wills. And I like Clash of Wills so much more than Dark Visions. Like, I'm so over Dark Visions. It is so boring these days. I'm still going to do it. I'll still try hard. But I am not pulling for Dark Visions anymore at all. Like, what about you? Are you still going for both kind of units, or are you just kind of focusing on one game mode only from now on?
I kind of agree with you. I really like Cow a lot more than Dark Visions now. And the Cow units themselves that they release seem to be way more interesting than JP units. So I'm kind of on the horde for global exclusive units train.
Mm-hmm. Me too. Like the JP unit design is, there's 1 or 2 exceptions that are still decent units coming down the road, but for the most part, JP is just really checked out of the design category. They are just not trying anymore. But yeah, so Kurosawa, his STMR is a high attack and magic accessory with death immunity. Gives him flat attack only to Type 0 units. So actually him, Queen, and Machina can all benefit from this. His TMR is one of those weird percentages. It's 75% double hand. Like, what? Why did Global not fix this? But they didn't. And then his kit, like, it's Cyan. It's just Cyan, but ice. He's an ice element version of Cyan. Queen is updated, as mentioned. Her kit is, she can do some chaining and all, but again, she is just going to sit there and look dumb for X amount of turns until her SLB is ready, and then she's going to do her SLB. Like, you may as well just guard for most turns. I mean, obviously you should chain because it's something, but her and Machina both, like, they exist for their SLB, and that's it. She can't do anything. And then her SLB comes off with, and then she can burst pretty hard, and Machina as well. So Queen is thunder, Machina is fire, and that's basically it. Truthfully, you're probably going to use these units for the Chronicle battles if you own them, and then, unless you're like a big fan of Queen, like for example Cyan Knight, I know the streamer is a big Queen fan, so he'll be using Queen everywhere. But for most players, they're just not going to use these units ever again after they finish the Chronicle battle. It's kind of sad that they didn't make them better. Although I will give like a ray of hope. In the future, the JP NeoVision's Awakenings, they become a lot better. For example, star player Titus, the NeoVision's Awakening, he is extremely good. So, they do go back to making good NeoVision's Awakenings. But for recently, if they've been disappointing. Like, Barrett, Rufus, Queen, Machina, they're just not very good. But they get better. And then the vision card is, it's a good vision card. It's a really good vision card. It's 100 attack and magic, 25 LB damage, 50 attack and magic percent. And then for FF0 units only, it's 300 flat stats to all. It's basically the Final Fantasy VI card, but for Type 0. Do you have the Final Fantasy VI card, NegaBrady, from Cyan or Seals? Or Celeste?
I was about to correct you there. But, yeah, no, I actually have the card from Celeste. I actually luckily got her to EX2, so...
Oh, yeah, that card is really, really good. And I actually really want one of these, like one of these 100 to both, and then 25 LB damage, 50 attack and magic both. On the JP server, I've got the Kurosawa card, which is... I don't have Kurosawa, but I have his card, because in JP, the cards are random, and I just got him from the card from an off-banner pull. But I use this card constantly in JP, so I'd like to get this one, or the FF6 one on Global, but I just didn't pull for Celeste, I didn't pull for Cyan, I'm not pulling for Kurosawa, so unless I off-banner them, I just won't have them yet. And then the exchange shop, not much to say here. I say it all the time. I would recommend the fragments first. If you go further and you get... there's actually 3 STMRs in the shop this time, but one of them was an old free STMR. This, I can't say this name, Lavatine? I don't know. Lavatine, Ovaltine, whatever. This is the old Tenacious Warrior Machina's STMR, the free unit. So this one was a free STMR, and honestly, it's not worth it. Do not pick this. I'm not sure why they even threw this in here. It's like trick new players, I guess. I don't know. There's really no reason to pick Lavatine. But the other 2 are the Red Hellebore and Storm Bunny Jacket. This is, what's the girl's name? What's the... Carlet. Carlet's STMR and Esther's STMR. Between these 2, I would say Esther's, absolutely. If you don't have either one, Esther gets killers. Killers are amazing. Always go for killers. If you've got one and not the other, pick the other one. If you've got multiple of both, I would say still probably Esther's. What about you, Nega? Which of these 2 is the better pick for players?
100% Esther SDMR.
Oh yeah, killers just always go for a killer. That's basically it. That's the news for the week. So once again, kind of amusingly enough, we just don't have anything to spend energy on. You're going to do the Chronicle Battle, 3 or 4 times, and then you're done because of the global change, which is a good change. Like in JP, you would spend the entire week farming the Chronicle Battle to make this stuff. On Global, you finish the Chronicle Battle in like 2 runs, which is nice, although on the other hand, it kind of leaves us on these events with nothing to spend energy on. For JP, you spent energy on the Chronicle Battle all week long. On Global, we're just going to be like, no energy. So I've been running the Fortisite dungeons just all week for the past 2 weeks. To farm Fortisites, also to level Limit Burst. I put in 5 units that need their LB leveled, and then I put on Berserk gear and it's going to the Fortisite dungeons and farm it up. What about you? What have you been spending? Have you been doing like the rank farm versus White Dragon? Have you been sitting at max energy, or what have you been using yours on?
Honestly, I've kind of been sitting on full. It's really bad. It's really bad, but like I just have nothing to really do. Yeah, honestly,
there's just nothing to spend energy on. I know, it's crazy. I kind of wish they would adjust like the event orders to always have a MOG event running. That's how JP does it. JP, on the first of the month, the MOG event starts, and the MOG event lasts the entire month. I wish kind of Global would do that, where the MOG event, or is the Final Fantasy VI MOG event still active? Maybe Global did do that. I just didn't even pay attention. Do you know if it's still active currently, or did the FS6 event end?
I think it ended, but I know that like during the FF7R banner with like Sephiroth and all them, the Mog King was still going, but you also had the raid as well.
Yeah. But
I personally wish that they would rerun old banners because I missed the FF9 banner and my Beatrix is hurting.
Oh yeah, and JP used to rerun banners really often. They actually stopped doing that kind of recently. JP hasn't done rerun banners. They'll rerun like banners to pull on. They do that pretty often. But as far as like rerunning the events themselves, JP used to do that a lot. They don't do that anymore. So maybe Global decided like they don't want to do that anymore either. But Global really never did do reruns that much. They did a few times, like 2 or 3 times they'd rerun an old event, but mostly Global has always just skipped reruns. So I don't know. There's hope, maybe, or maybe like in the future, they'll do like the Moogle Charm. For a year, everyone complained they didn't have Moogle Charm, so they finally stuck it as a permanent item. So maybe they'll do that for like Beatrix's upgrade and stuff, her sword.
Here's hoping.
But all right, that is the news for September 16th on Global. Thank you, NegaBrady, for joining me, and I will see you guys on Thursday for the stuff.